there is a likelihood that you could have a lot of fun with different decks out there, but we only tend to play maybe 50 types of decks, maybe, if that. I'm being real lenient here. We normally play the same 2 or 3 decks, right? Because they're good, they're strong. But what if you're not there for that? What if we're here to learn how to play the game? Or what if we're here to, like, discover cards we never even known about? My goal is to try every archetype.
Where the fuck is my house?
Was your house down there?
We don't know where
My
it
house!
is.
Not your
Well, hello. It has dawned on me that in editing I've missed a couple of things, so I might as well go over them right now. The website that I use is called Dueling Nexus. It is one of many Yu-Gi-Oh simulators that this world has to offer. It has a wealth of knowledge curated in deck lists and a whole lot of other stuff as well. You may just have to figure it out. But what I can say is that, I guess if you want to follow along, it's a website that you can also access on your phone as well. So if you do not want to download any simulators or anything, because you may have your fears, you're welcome to just, it's around the browser, duelingnexus.com, log in. Now, when I'm here, I have a deck I would like to showcase that is not Gate Guardian, and for the sole reason that I am here to explain soft, hard, and non-once per turns. The rules of effects, pretty much. I learned that I have to explain this if I were to, well, I realize I have to explain this for the new player because it may get a little difficult when explaining other effects. Maybe in a different episode of TEA I can explain this archetype, but all I want to do now is show to you once per turn, hard once per turn, and no once per turn. It would make a lot of sense if I just show it to you instead. So this is Editor Nost coming in to break the rules down. Alright, first thing I would like to start off with is a hard once per turn. It is an effect that can only be used once during the turn. You are turned player in this situation here, and if we have a hard once per turn effect, that means, so we're going to normal summon Cyber Dragon Core for starters. On mandatory win summon can search a Cyber Spell Trap from our deck to our hand. We're going to search Cyber Load Fusion, and Cyber Dragon Core is a level 2 light machine monster with 400 attack and 1500 defense. This card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard. If this card is normal summon, mandatory, add 1 Cyber Spell Trap from your deck to your hand. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, special summon 1 Cyber Dragon monster from your deck. You can only use 1 Cyber Dragon Core effect per turn, and only once that turn. Well, the bottom part where it says you can only use 1 of these effects per turn and only once that turn means that if I were to acquire another copy of Cyber Dragon Core that I'm able to normal summon, I will be incapable of activating its effect, because this effect can only be used once in the turn. We're going to explain a no once per turn effect. Cards that have effects that are not once per turn, they do not say they aren't once per turn, but they just do not have the clause at all that limits your ability to use the effect more than once. Cards like Pot of Greed, which simple effect only says draw 2 cards, and a card like Machine Duplication, which is a normal spell card with the effect to target 1 machine monster you control with 500 or less attack. Special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck with the same name as that face-up monster. As you can see, there is no clause saying that you can only use this effect once per turn, which means that if we were to acquire another copy of Machine Duplication, we will be able to activate that second copy as well, as long as the conditions have been met. So we're going to activate Machine Duplication, targeting Cyber Dragon Core. It would allow us to special summon 2 Cyber Dragons because Core's effect implies that while it's on the field, its name becomes Cyber Dragon as well. And Machine Duplication summons up to 2 monsters from the deck with the same name. As you can see, it does not say original name, which means it will not be summoning Cyber Dragon Core, but Cyber Dragon, because Cyber Dragon Core's name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or graveyard. We just explained a hard once per turn and a no once per turn. A card like Tuning also fits the bill, which is a normal spell card with the effect to add 1 Synchron Tuner from your deck to your hand, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. As you can see, there is no clause that says you can only use the effect once per turn, which means that if we were to acquire another copy of Tuning, we would be able to activate its effect in the same turn. So what we're going to do, we're going to activate tuning. We're not chaining any effects. We're going to add Assault Synchron, don't worry about it. And it will be sending a card from Dead to Grave. It sends another Cyber Dragon. What we're going to do after that, not like this part really matters, but I'm still going to do it anyway. We're going to Xyz summon both of these Cyber Dragons and Cyber Dragon Nova, which only requires 2 level 5 machine monsters as material. Next up, we are going to go into Cyber Dragon Infinity. And then we're just going to go Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon, just stuff I may skip until we get to the actual important part here. Alright, next up, to explain a soft once per turn, we'd have to acquire a card that has the clause once per turn in it, but that does not have the clause hard once per turn. Technically, Cyber Dragon Nova has the clause, but we're going to take it one step further. We're going to activate Over Future Fusion, which is a continuous spell. That the effect that's only important right now is that it says fusion summon 1 Dart Machine monster from your extra deck by banishing its materials from your graveyard. We have materials in our graveyard, Cyber Dragon and Cyber Dragon likes. We're going to activate the effect, and we're going to summon Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon using Cyber Dragon Infinity and Cyber Dragon Nova as materials. Then we're going to read this card's effect. We're not going to activate its effect right now, but we're going to read it. Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, which is a level 5 dark machine monster with 2100 attack, 1600 defense. Its materials, it requires 2+ Cyber Dragon monsters. A fusion summon of this card can only be done with the above fusion materials. When this card is fusion summoned, you can target spell traps on the field up to the number of spell traps used for its fusion summon, destroy them. Then, once per turn, you can send up to 2 light machine monsters from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, for each monster sent to the graveyard, this card gains an additional attack during each battle phase this turn. Now, the important part is that I'll be showing you a soft once per turn effect. Now, the card has the effect, once per turn, you can send up to 2 light machine monsters from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, for each monster sent to the graveyard, this card gains an additional attack during each battle phase. Now, a once per turn, I technically like seeing it as a once while in the field, which means we can activate this effect once because the conditions have been met, the card has been summoned. We can activate the effect to send 2 light machine monsters from deck to grave, and then this card gains 2 attack. But because it is not a once per turn, and it is a once per turn, that means we cannot activate this effect again unless we can acquire a situation in which this card becomes new. There's many ways to elicit that possibility, but we cannot activate the card effect again. But that does not mean we cannot activate the card for the rest of the turn, because the card has once per turn, but not you can only use this effect once per turn, which is different. As you can see how Over Future Fusion has you can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect of Over Future Fusion once per turn. So there's a stark difference. A soft once per turn would have once per turn, but not only in it. Hard once per turns would have only in them. No once per turns would have neither of the clauses, which makes them quite hard to find. Next up, we're going to activate Cyberload Fusion, which is a quick play spell card with the effect to fusion summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck that lists Cyber Dragon monsters as material by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it into the deck from among your cards on the field and or face-up banished cards. Monsters you control cannot attack for the rest of the turn except that fusion summoned monster. You can only activate 1 Cyberload Fusion per turn. You see how the bottom clause, you can only activate 1 Cyberload Fusion per turn, which means if we were to acquire another one after activating this Cyberload Fusion, we would not be able to activate it. We're going to summon Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon by shuffling back Cyber Dragon Infinity and Cyber Dragon Nova back into the deck, or extra deck in this situation. We're going to summon Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. We're not going to activate its effect, but to show you that because there is a new copy on the field of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon, that we are able to activate its effect again to once per turn send up to 2 light machine monsters from your deck to your graveyard. Since we have another one face up on the field that is not limited to 1 copy, we are able to send 2 light machine monsters, and therefore we're able to trigger that effect again. If Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon had you can only use each effect once per turn, then if we were to summon this extra copy, we would not be able to use this effects. Hopefully this makes a little bit more sense. Only means in the whole turn, that effect can only be activated once. No once per turn, can be activated as many times with the same copy or whatever you want as possible. Soft once requires, it's more like a once while face up on field or a scenario in which it would require another copy. I'm trying to be like really, it's a little bit difficult to explain sometimes. Just imagine if Chimera Tech Rampage did not have a once per turn on it, you'd be able to send up to 2 light machine monsters until you just run out of light machine monsters in your deck. Infinitely with a singular copy. But since as a once per turn, it would require you to summon another copy of itself, or get into a position where this copy forgets that it uses effect, for you to be able to use this effect again. And there is your lesson in hard wants and soft wants per turn. Ciao. Well, hello. Editor Nose here. Yes, the pitch has lowered, but I had to come in because in recording I found out that I accidentally deleted a couple of things, and so what I'm going to do, I'm going to give the deck rundown. Don't worry, this may look like a jump scare to you, but this is what the future. We have the cards that are part of the Gate Guardian archetype, kinda, that I didn't run in my final build. And I'll tell you the reason why, like, later on, but Labyrinth Wall, one of the OG cards. It's just a guy with 3000 defense. Now an actual card. The boss monster back then. Gate Guardian, which is a level 11 Dark Warrior monster with 3750 attack, 3400 defense. It cannot be normal summon / set and must first be special summoned from your hand by attributing one Song of the Thunder, Kazajan, and Suijin. Alright, we have Prey of the Jirai Gumo, which is a continuous trap card with the effect to special summon this card as a normal monster, Insect Earth level 5, 2100 attack, 100 defense, to your main monster zone in the same column. This is also still treated as a trap. And then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls in this card's column. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add one of your Song of Thunder, Kazajan, or Suijin that is banished or in your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Prey of the Jirai Gumo once per turn. A lot of the archetype is going to have cards that, once they're in the graveyard, they banish themselves to recur the cards that you may want in there, and I'll explain the other stuff. Gate Guardians Combined, which is a level 12 Dark Warrior monster with 3750 attack, 3400 defense. It requires Song of the Thunder, Kazajan, and Suijin. It must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards from your hand, field, and or graveyard. When your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card you control, quick effect, you can negate that effect, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardians Combined thrice per turn. If this face-up special summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one level 11 or lower Gate Guardian monster from your deck, extra deck, ignoring summoning conditions. I think I spent like the first 5 minutes trying to explain what it means to ignore summoning conditions, because if you do not know that type of beat. So after this it should catch up pretty well. Alright, we have the next boss monster. Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder, which is a level 9 Aqua Water Fusion monster with 2550 attack and 2300 defense. It requires Suijin and Song of Thunder. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above cards you control. Once per chain, quick effect, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0 until the end of this turn. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder twice per turn. If this face-up special summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one of your banished Suijin or Song of Thunder. There's going to be a lot of themes here, so now that I explained kind of those two, I'm going to chop up my words a little bit more now, so we can like blast through it. Next up, we have Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind, which is a level 9 Light Thunder Fusion monster with 2500 attack, 2200 defense. It requires Song of the Thunder and Kazajan. As the other cards imply, must be special summoned by banishing the above cards you control. Then it has during your main phase, you can add one spell trap from your deck to your hand that mentions Song of the Thunder, Kazajan, and Suijin. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind once per turn. If this face-up special summon card in its owner's control leaves the field because of his opponent's card, you can special summon one of your banished Song of the Thunder or Kazajan. So when they're normally removed due to your opponent's card, they summon one of their materials back. Gate Guardian of Wind and Water is a level 9 Spellcaster Wind Fusion monster with 2450 attack, 2300 defense. It requires Kazajan and Suijin as materials, as you know. Must be special summoned by banishing the above cards you control. Then once per chain, when your opponent activates a spell, trap, card, or effect on field, quick effect, you can negate that effect. You can only use this effect of Gate Guardian of Wind and Water twice per turn. Then it has the clause, if the opponent's card removes it, special summon one of your materials back. These are link monsters, they're super generic. I'll get into that later because it's not like part of the main archetype. Next up we have, I I should explain this in an order that helps. Yeah. So, Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind can search a card that mentions Kazajin and Suijin and Sangha. This card mentions it, so I'll talk about this. Dark Element, which is a normal spell card with the effect that if you have a Gate Guardian monster in your graveyard, pay half your life point, special summon one level 11 or lower Gate Guardian monster from your hand, deck, or extra deck, ignoring its summoning condition. Then it has, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one of your Sangha, Kazajin, or Suijin from your deck or banishment to your hand. You can only use this effect, each effect of Dark Element once per turn. And what's a card that also has Gate Guardian that's in your deck? Well, Dark Guardian, which is a level 12 Dark Warrior monster with 3800 attack, 3800 defense. This card is always treated as a Gate Guardian card, cannot be normal summon / set, must be either special summoned by Dark Element or special summoned from your hand or graveyard by shuffling into the deck one each of your Song of Thunder, Kazajin, and Suijin that is in your hand, face-up field, graveyard, and or banished. It cannot be destroyed by battle. And then if this card is special summoned by the effect of Dark Element, it is unaffected by other monsters' effects or your opponent's activated spell cards or effects. Next up we have Song of Thunder, which is a level 7 light thunder monster with 2600 attack, 2200 defense, and then it has the effect that once while face up on the field during damage calculation of your opponent in your opponent's turn, if this card is being attacked, quick effect, you can target the attacking monster, make the target's attack 0 during damage calculation only. All of the Sangha of Thunder, Suijin, and Kazajin share that same effect. Next up, Suijin, which is a level 7 aqua water monster with 2500 attack, 2400 defense. Shares the same effect as Kazajin and Sangha. Next up we have Kazajin, which is a level 7 wind spellcaster with 2400 attack, 2200 defense that shares the same effect as Suijin and Sangha. Labyrinth Wall Shadow, which is a field spell with the effect that monsters cannot attack the turn they are summoned except monsters whose original level is 5 or higher. Once per turn during your main phase you can place one of your Song of Thunder, Kazajin, or Suijin that is banished or in your hand or deck face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. At the start of your opponent's battle phase, you can target one monster your opponent controls with less than 1600 attack, destroy it. Next up, we have Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth, which is a level 5 dark zombie monster with 1600 attack, 1300 defense that has the effect that you can discard this card, add one Labyrinth Wall card from your deck to your hand. And then at the start of damage step, if your opponent monsters battles while you control a Labyrinth Wall card, you can banish this card from your graveyard, destroy that opponent's monster. You can only use each effect of Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth once per turn. Next up we have Double Attack Wind and Thunder, which is a quick play spell card with the effect that if you control a Gate Guardian monster, target one card in the field, destroy it. And during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one of your Song of Thunder, Kazajin, or Suijin that is banished or in your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Double Attack Wind and Thunder once per turn. And you remember that clause where it's like they banish themselves to recur stuff? Just keep that in mind. So I'm not going to say the next one if it has that effect. Next up we have Ryoku Guardian, which is a normal spell card with the effect that if your life points are lower than your opponent's, target one monster you control with Gate Guardian in its original name, have your opponent's life points, then that monster gains attack equal to your opponent's life points. And then it has the recursion effect where it adds one of the materials from deck or banishment to your hand. And then you can only use each effect of Ryoku Guardian once per turn. Yeah, I think after that, that's all the explaining you do. Nice. If your life points are lower than your opponent's, target a monster you control, have your opponent's life points, then this gains attack. A monster you control with Gate Guardian is original name. Original name means that there's card effects that can change their names. There's card effects that can change the name of cards you control to certain names. There's cards and effects that copy names in the graveyard and stuff. Don't worry about it, because you have Gate Guardians that are in the original name. In the same turn, you can banish the card, recycle another card, so you can see a theme. These cards have effects that are not that bad, and they also recycle your fusion materials needed to summon your fusion monsters. Next up we have Labyrinth Heavy Tank, which is a level 7 dark machine monster with 2400 attack and 2400 defense. You can normal summon this card without tributing. It cannot attack the turn it is normal summon. During your main phase, you can place one of your Sangha of Thunder, Kazajin, or Suijin that is banished or in your hand or deck face up in your spell trap zone as a continuous spell. Then if you control a Labyrinth Wall card, you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. You can only use this effect of Labyrinth Heavy Take once per turn. Cool. So, since you see you can only use this effect, it's referring to the during the main phase place a guy, which is not referring to its summoning condition. It's kind of weird. It's not referring to a summon condition, which is a once per turn. It's referring to the effect to place a guy. So keep that in mind. Let's go over our Inengine cards. We have Dark Guardian, Gate Guardian, Song of Thunder, Suijin, Labyrinth Heavy Tank, Kazujin, Shadow Ghoul of Labyrinth, Dark Element, Riroku Guardian, Double Attack, Wind and Thunder, Labyrinth Wall Shadow, Prey of the Jiraiya, Gate Guardians Combined, Gate Guardians of Water and Thunder, Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind, and Gate Guardian of Wind and Water. That's your lineup of Inengine cards pretty much. Inengine in Archetype, that is your archetype of cards. You could try to play a game using nothing but the in-archetype cards to just learn how they access, and maybe we'll do that. Then I may show you what it's like trying to add cards that synergize with it, but that requires you to know other cards, so maybe I can assist in that department. Also, feel free to look up cards and look up people playing decks with these cards. What I like to use as a resource is this thing called, YGO Pro Deck, which is home to a bunch of people building decks, so yeah, they build a lot of decks. And you can look at them and be like, ooh, that's a cool looking deck. That deck looks cool. I'm cool with that. That's pretty cool. Alright, here's 3 of every card in the archetype. As you can see, we only have 36 cards. Normally it's a 46 card deck. What do we do in this situation here? To help us learn how the archetype works, like, I guess better, I'd say, we'll add cards that does not stray away from the core mechanic that may assist us. So what we're going to do first, there's such a good card I could add. I'm gonna add that later. We're gonna add the actual cards that make this deck pretty good later. For now, we're going to just add stuff like, honestly, just go to the limited section. You may have a very long game, but if you want, it helps you learn the mechanics. Just hit up the limited section and go to the cards you know because they're super old. Just go back to those. Alright, now, here is the core essence of this deck, right? This is in its base form because we're here to learn how the deck plays, and in the process, we can improve the deck. This is not the deck's final form, this is very far from it actually. And then as we go over, we can improve and find out, why does this suck? Sorry. We can find out where we need to improve on and how. So, we're just going to run some test hands on Nexus and see what happens. Alright, let's see what we got here. Remember, we're here to learn how the deck plays at this point. So we're not going to be having infinite combos and crazy boards. We're here to learn the core mechanics. So, double attack Wind and Thunder's in our hand. We need to control the Gate Guardian monster, and this also can replenish a card. We have Labyrinth Heavy Tank, and we have Prey of the Jiraiya. This is our main phase 1. We can normal summon this card to place one of our Sangas. We have Suijin in hand, and let's see the fusion access here. We have Suijin, which means we can make Gate Guardian of Wind and Water. If we normal summon Heavy Tank and use this effect to place Kazujin, we can also play Sanga using Heavy Tank, and then use those two to have battle phase, I don't know, like changing a target attack to 0 so they can't beat over us if we find the field spell. Or we can have the spell trap negate. Personally, I think we should have the spell trap negate by Kazujin. So what we're going to do, we're going to normal summon Labyrinth Heavy Tank. We're going to use this effect to place one of our guys. Place it in our spell and trap zone. I forgot, it requires you to banish the buff cards you control. Whoopsie cadoodles. Ooh, our hand, we have opened Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth, Labyrinth Wall Shadow, Gold Sarcophagus, Suijin, and Labyrinth Heavy Tank. Well, we can start it off with Labyrinth Wall Shadow. Labyrinth Wall Shadow can place one of our Sanga, Kazujin, or Suijins. In our extra deck, we know Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind can add a spell trap that mentions this guy, which means it can add the Dark Gate or something. I forgot the name. It can add Dark Element. There we go. So we want to access Song of Thunder and Kazajan. We currently only have Suijin. So let's start it off. Let's imagine our plays do get disrupted and we have Suijin. We can have a spell trap negate. So getting Kazajan is not that bad here. We'll start off with Kazajan. Then if we want, we can normal summon Labyrinth Heavy Tank. Labyrinth Heavy Tank can actually place the other guy for us. Since we currently have Kazajan, Sangha of Thunder, boom. Now, we can also go into Combined as well if we want to. We can go into Gate Guardians Combined, but let's not do that. Let's see if we can continue our plays beyond that. We're going to summon Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind by banishing the above cards we control, Kazajan and Song of Thunder. We're going to summon it. Song of Thunder, oh my bad, Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind has the effect. During the main phase, add a card that mentions it. Let's see if we can add Dark Element here. Because it requires to have a Gate Guardian monster in our graveyard. Let's see if we can pull that off with this hand. If not, it's fine. Because honestly, I never played this deck before, so. Let's activate Shadow Ghoul the Labyrinth. Let's add another Labyrinth Wall Shadow. Let's see what's happening. Remember, this is a once while on the field, you know, so. If you have another copy, you can activate the effect again if you wish. We have Suijin. What we could do, Suijin, extra deck. Suijin. We can get a Kazajan and make a spell trap negate if we want. Ah, I forgot, it needs to be on the field. Ah, that's my only issue, I keep forgetting about that part. You see, and that's the part of learning. To be honest, I forgot that part. I genuinely forgot that part. Well, that's why we got reset. I'm going through the experience with you, as we don't know how to play this deck, right? But we do know what we want to achieve. And that's the importance, knowing what we want to achieve and knowing if we can achieve it. We have Dark Element in our hand, we have Kazajan and Sangha. We need to remember that the Gate Guardian combined contribute from anywhere, whereas the other guys need to be controlled, whether they're continuous spells or on the field as normal monsters. So we can go Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. We can add Labyrinth Wall Shadow from our deck to our hand. Labyrinth Wall Shadow, we can activate that effect. The field spell then during the main phase can place one of our Kazajan, Suijin, and whatever. What we could do, because these guys are dead, we can place the Suijin as the last piece we need to make Gate Guardians combine. We can then make Gate Guardians combine. And then we have Gate Guardians combine on field. Sadly, this guy requires a Gate Guardian monster in our graveyard. Do we have Foolish Burial Goods in here? We do. So we end on Labyrinth Wall Shadow and Gate Guardians combine. This means that if our opponent summons a monster with a level of 4 and lower, they cannot attack the turn they are summoned. Also, if the monster has 1600 or less attack, and they enter the battle phase, we can target and destroy them. If our opponent chooses to target one of our cards with a card effect, we can up to thrice per turn destroy it. Well, negate and destroy. And if they attempt to remove Gate Guardians combined, we can summon from our extra deck one of our various Wind and Water, Thunder and Wind, and or Water and Thunder. So that is pretty decent. And then, let's see, turn 2, we have another Law Shadow. Remember, this is during the main phase, activate it again if you want. So we can place another card. To thin our deck, we can place a Suijin if we want. We can then, after placing Suijin, we can go Shadow of the Labyrinth. We can add from our deck to our hand another field spell, Labyrinth Wall Shadow. We can activate it because it's a soft once per turn, as we remember. We can then place another card. I think Suijin and Sangha makes... No, it has to be Suijin and Kazajan or Suijin and Sangha, which turns the attack to 0 or a spell trap negate. I prefer Suijin and Kazujin here. Spell trap negates are quite strong, so since they're on the face of field, we do control them even though they're continuous spells, so we can banish the above materials. We can then make Gate Guardian of Wind and Water. Great. We open Gate Guardian, Ryoroku Guardian, Gold Sarcophagus, and Pray the Jiragumo. And welcome to the bad part. because we formed this deck in such a way where we do not have a way of making a fusion. It's nothing but pure engine, pure in archetype cards, right? With a couple of the old cards, right? We don't do anything crazy. We play the old cards. Now, that's all I can just set. Pray of the Jiragumo and pass. So if we get in a situation, we lose, right? So it's important to keep that in mind. Now that we have more of that in mind, we can then adjust our deck accordingly. Now, I'm gonna be honest. This is the part where you start to see how other people make their decks, right? Only because, let's imagine you don't know what card you're looking for. There are other individuals that you could backbone off of that know what cards to look for. Like, they know cards you do not know. Once you know those cards, you can also make the inference that this card be good there. And then the more cards you learn, the more cards you know can be used in different scenarios. Where this card may be good in here, it can also be good in there. This may be a Gate Guardian in Archetype deck, with a couple of the old cards because old cards are gold. This does not mean this is its best form. Because the thing is, there are out of Archetype cards that can assist your strategy. So we go to YGO Pro deck, let's just search Gate Guardian. Because as a new player, you're wondering, how do I finally, after watching this video, I understand what all these cards do. I have all of the in-archetype cards, but I just don't know any other cards and how to make them work, right? So you know what the cards do now, right? You know what the cards do. You had a couple of test hands. You can successfully make Gate Guardians combine under a good hand. You know what the old cards, Monster Reborn, Foolish Burial, Terraforming, Gold Circuit, you know those cards, right? But now you're like, there's cards I do not know that I bet would help me. So then you go to YGO Pro deck, and then you find out, wow, there's Gate Guardian decks. Let's just choose this Gate Guardian deck by MKVI3. Let's see what he's playing. It is a 41 card deck, and these are the cards he's playing. You see there's cards that are different from yours. You can also see that the ratios are different as well. And then it helps you make an inference. Also, decks change when the meta changes. The meta changes means that what decks people play that could probably stop your deck changes. So you'd have to run cards that assist you. He's running cards that you may not even know about, and we're going to explain those cards too. So thank you, MKVI, for the deck list. We're going to copy this deck list, and we're going to see what's next. Alright, we're back with the deck list. Now, remember, this isn't its final form. This is probably very far from it. As more cards come out, more strategies develop, and that means more victories come in place. And the game evolves, and so does the playstyles. I just had to edit a card out because that card got banned. And who knows, maybe in the future this deck list will be old and maybe I'll have to update it. But we have new cards, new strategies, and a whole lot to learn. And then, hopefully after I'm finished with this deck list, you can go off and learn even crazier combos, even crazier ways to make Gate Guardian even more powerful, and more archetypes in the future. So, that's good to know. So, keep that in mind, and we can know more cards, so the more cards you learn about this, the more cards you can apply to other situations. We know our Gate Guardian strategy because I had to explain every single card what it does and what it meant. Now we can explain every one of these cards and what it means. It should be easier though because you know how stuff works now, so keep that in mind. Alrighty. First off, I'll mention things that we had to take out. We removed the original Gate Guardian because we saw that it was already difficult enough to summon the fusions, which in my opinion have easier summoning requirements than the original Gate Guardian. We then took out Prey of the Jiraiya. There are ways to recur your banished materials to make more fusions, but it seems like Prey of the Jiraiya is just too slow, because trap cards in today's age are quite slow. Next, we took out all of the old cards because we're learning new strategies to catch up in today's ideologies. Next up, welcome to the new ratios. As you can see, these cards are now at 2. Suijin, Sangha, Kazejin, they were at 3, but opening all 3 in your hand proves very useless. So what they're doing, they are making it more consistent for your hand to not be bad, because your hand gets quite bad if you open all these guys. You rather make it. Anyways, next up, we are only running 1 Dark Guardian because, as we know from the Archetype test hands, it's hard enough to summon the fusion, which has easier summoning conditions. Now, the likelihood that you're summoning 3 Dark Guardians is pretty low. Next up, we have consistency. So Labyrinth Heavy Tank stayed at 3. Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth is at 3. Because Search in the Field spell is quite important, for it sets up your combos, it insulates your plays, and makes it so you're kind of protected during the battle phase. It gives you an extra layer of interruption while also proving as a nice resource mechanic. So that's always strong. Next up, we have Dark Elemented 2. I don't know why. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on to the new stuff that may improve this deck strategy even more. And we're going to explain why. As you can see, our extra deck also got chopped down, so Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder is moved. We have it down to 1 instead of 3. Because the ability to target a face-up monster and change its attack to the end of the turn, change its attack to 0 to the end of the turn, is not that strong. Whereas Gate Guardian of Wind and Water is a spell trap negate. Remember, there's 3 types of cards: trap, spells, and monsters. So the ability to cut off a spell or trap is pretty strong. Gate Guardian combined at 3 has a much easier summoning condition and brings out your other guys. So it's always important just to have 3 of them just in case. Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind, though being able to search a spell trap that mentions Kazejin, Suijin, and Song of Thunder, it may not be necessary to run more than 1. Other than that, it is not that strong. It is just another searcher, and you'd rather just summon Gate Guardians combined. There's more extra deck cards, but we can get into that after we finish the main deck. Welcome to improving the deck's ability to make very good monsters. First, we're going to start with this engine called the Magicians of Souls, which we'll explain Magician of Souls first. It is, Magicians of Souls is a level 1 dark spellcaster with 0 attack and 0 defense that has the effect where you can send up to 2 spell traps from your hand and or field to the graveyard, draw that many cards. And then, if this card's in your hand, you can send 1 level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard, then activate one of these effects. Send this card to the graveyard, then you can special summon 1 Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard. You can only use each effect of Magician Souls once per turn, aka what is above, all of that above it. Now let's see what that means. First off, its summoning conditions at the bottom, which is funny, but you can send 2 spell traps from your hand and or field to the graveyard, draw that many cards. Here's why that's useful. Remember how Labyrinth Wall Shadow can place your Sangha, Kazejin, and Suijin into your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, which means that Magician Souls can send those to draw cards. And remember, that does not ruin your plays because Gate Guardians combined can summon itself by banishing from the field and or graveyard. So you'd be drawing cards for free, and then the material can still be used to summon Gate Guardians combined, which is why that's quite strong. But that's not the only reason why Magician Souls is quite strong, because it also has, if this card's in your hand, you can send 1 level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard to either special summon this card or send it to summon a Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard. Now, we do not have Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in our graveyard, but you wonder, how do we summon it? We need to send a level 6 or higher spellcaster. Well, one of our materials needed to summon Gate Guardians combined is a level 6 or higher spellcaster, and that is Kazejin. It is a level 7 spellcaster monster, which means not only are you drawing cards that does not hurt your plays, you're also able to send one of the materials you need for Gate Guardians Combined to the graveyard as a summoning condition for Dark Magician Souls. So it grants you a draw and sends your material from deck to grave so that you can make Gate Guardians Combined. That's why it's so strong. Now, the ability to search it's kind of interesting, because you're wondering, how do I get this guy in my hand since it's so strong? Well, here's the card. Illusion of Chaos. Now, it is a level 7 Dark Spellcaster Ritual monster with the effect. You can ritual summon this card with Chaos form, you can reveal this card in your hand, add 1 Dark Magician or non-ritual monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can return this card to your hand, and if you do, special summon 1 Dark Magician from your graveyard, and if you do that, negate that activated effect. You can only use each effect of Illusion of Chaos once per turn. Now, there's only one important effect on this card that you need to know specifically for the Gate Guardian strategy. It is that you are able to reveal this card in your hand, add a Dark Magician or 1 non-ritual monster that mentions it. Then place 1 card from your hand on the top of your deck. Now, Magician Souls is a non-ritual card that has Dark Magician, aka it mentions Dark Magician. Now what this means is that Illusion of Chaos replaces itself and searches Magician Souls. Basically giving your hand the card you need with no additional downside. Because it adds the card, and then the card you place on top of your deck could be a brick, or it could be Illusion of Chaos. You just put Illusion of Chaos back, and then your 5 cards is still 5 cards. Illusion of Chaos searches 1 card, and then puts itself back, so you're still at 5 cards at the end of the day. So that's very strong. How do you search Illusion of Chaos? Well, Preparation of Rites is a normal spell with the effect to add 1 level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand, then you can add a ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. The important part is that you can add 1 ritual monster from your deck to your hand. That adds Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos accesses Magician of Souls. Magician of Souls sends Khazajin as material to summon itself. Then if Labyrinth Wall Shadow is on the field, which places another one of your materials, Magicians of Souls can send that to the graveyard to draw that many cards. So you draw the cards, and you also have 2 materials in the graveyard, and need 1 more material to summon Guardians Combined, which replenishes your hand. It's also very strong. So that is the Magician Soul strategy. It is very strong, and as you can already see, the power level of it will make it so we can more consistently access our fusion monsters and extra deck plays. Next up on the list, we have the next fun card, Elemental Hero Prisma, which is a light warrior level 4 monster with 1700 attack, 1100 defense, which can once per turn reveal 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, then send 1 of the fusion materials whose name is mentioned on that card from your deck to your graveyard. And this card's name becomes the sent monster's name until the end phase. Now, what does that mean? On a soft once per turn, you can reveal a fusion monster, then send 1 of the fusion materials from your deck to the graveyard. So, and then its name becomes the sent monster name. So, believe it or not, you remember when it talked about cards whose original name is Gate Guardian? It is because cards can change their names like Elemental Hero Prisma. Which means Elemental Hero Prisma can reveal Gate Guardians Combined to send Khazajin, Suijin, or Sangha, whichever one they need, to the graveyard as material, and then its name becomes that, which means it can be used as material as well for any of the Gate Guardians. So that is very strong. It's 2 materials. Now how do we get to that? Well, a Hero Lives is a normal spell card with the effect that if you control no face-up monsters, pay half your life points, special summon 1 level 4 or lower elemental hero monster from your deck. Paying half your life points, special summons Elemental Hero Prisma, which is in the name. And then Elemental Hero Prisma can reveal Gate Guardians Combined, send any of the materials it needs to, be used as material, summon Gate Guardian of Wind, Combine, Thunder, whatever you need to insulate your plays. The combination of the Magicians of Souls and Elemental Hero Prisma engines can help boost your play significantly and end on a board that is very helpful. Next up, we have this thing we like to call Fusion Deployment, which is a normal spell card with the effect to reveal one fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon from your hand or deck one of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on the card. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters the turn you activate this card. You can only activate one fusion deployment per turn. So, a hard once per turn, you can reveal a fusion monster and then special summon one of the materials necessary. You can reveal Gate Guardians combined, special summon Sangha, Suijin, or Kazuijin, but you are locked, aka you can only special summon these guys for the rest of the turn. Alright, so the types of extra deck monsters there are. There's fusions, links, XYZ monsters, and synchros. All you need to know is that the purple cards are fusions, and that if you were to activate fusion deployment, that means the turn that happens, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except purple cards, which are fusions. So keep that in mind. You do get materials. It summons from deck, which is a very powerful effect. It just locks you into fusions, so just know about that. Last but not least, we have things to stop your opponent from playing the game while they're playing. There are cards specifically made and have the ability to help stop your opponent as they are making boards just like you. Just as you are trying to summon Gate Guardians combined and other monsters, they're also trying to summon their own signature boss monsters with the ability to stop you from playing the game. In doing so, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has cards that are built to prevent them from reaching that end goal that you also want to reach. And they can be done during your opponent's turn, because quick effect. We like to call those hand traps. Just like the trap card being used to counter your opponent's plays, the ability to activate them from the hand is what makes them so useful. Not waiting a turn, but instead turning 0. We'll start the card with the signature hand trap, Infinite Impermanence, which is a normal trap card with the effect that target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Negate its effects until the end of this turn. Then, if this card was set before activation and is on the field at resolution, for the rest of this turn, all other spell trap effects in this column are negated. If you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. Now, reading it sounds kinda complicated because that is its set card effect. But know that if you control no cards, you can activate it from your hand, and you can activate the ability to target a face-up monster your opponent controls and negate its effects until the end of this turn. Add quick effect speed. So if your opponent normal summons a monster that you do not want to activate its effects, you can chain Infinite Impermanence and chain link 2, or whatever you want to do. And then the chains go reverse order, where Infinite Impermanence would negate the monster, and the monster that wants to activate its effect would be negated. And that's how it goes. Next up, that's all you need to know for now. Next up, we have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, which is a level 3 zombie fire monster with 0 attack, 1800 defense, that has the effect that, when a card or effect is activated that includes any of these effects, quick effect, you can discard this card, negate that effect. So, to add a card from the deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from deck to graveyard. And you can only use this effect of Ash Blossom and Joy Spring once per turn. So, if your opponent activates an effect that would add a card from deck to hand, special summon from the deck, or send a card from deck to graveyard, this card at quick effect speed can discard itself to negate that effect, which in today's current meta can be proven very useful. This abilities are pretty flushed out. It's a pretty central goal, and you know if you're going to do something risky like that, then prepare to be ashed. Card effects to add to the hand, special summon from deck, and send to graveyard are very strong effects. Most card effects like those are limited. For example, okay, welcome to limited cards, and why Ash Blossom stops OP effects. Anyways, remember, adding a card from deck to hand is a very strong effect. Reinforcement of the Army is a normal spell card with the effect to add one level 4 or lower war monster from your deck to your hand. That is very strong. If your whole archetype consists of level 4 or lower warrior monsters, you are practically adding any card from your deck to your hand. That is a very strong effect. This card is limited and has been limited for quite some time. This card stops very strong effects like those. In today's age, many cards in today activate effects to add specific cards from deck to hand, which are pretty strong. Next up, we have Special Summon from the deck. I mean, there's a card that's banned that does that, so you can kind of understand that Special Summon from the deck is a very strong effect. And sending a card from deck to graveyard. For example, Foolish Barrel is a normal spell card with the simple effect to send one monster from your deck to the graveyard. It is currently limited. It is a very strong effect, because in today's age, many cards have very strong graveyard effects. Even in this Gate Guardian deck, to apply the same logic, Elemental Hero Prisma can activate its effect to send a fusion material and change its name. Ash can negate that. So it's pretty strong, because if Prisma sends a material, that's one less material needed for Gate Guardians combined to come out on the field, which is your boss monster, so keep that in mind. Next up, we have the extra deck. I'll be honest, this extra deck's kinda old. You low-key want to go into this, but let's imagine you just have generic cards. So I'm about to teach you generic extra deck cards. They may not be staples. This card's a staple, that's for sure. I added this because Baron's banned, so... Anyways, Cross Sheep is a link to Earth Beast monster with 2 downward pointing arrows, well, diagonal downward, I don't know how to explain it. With pointing diagonal left and diagonal right downwards. Is that it? I don't know. With 700 attack, it has the effect that requires 2 monsters with different names. And then if a monster is spell summoned to a zone this card points to, you can apply the following effects in sequence based on the type of monsters this card points to. If a card is pointed to this card and you special summon a fusion monster specifically, it special summons 1 level 4 lower monster from your graveyard. That's all you need to know. IP Masquerena. It's a link to 2 downward pointed arrows. 800 attack, requires 2 non-link monsters. During your opponent's main phase, you can quick effect immediately after this effect resolves, link summon 1 monster using materials you control and including this card. You can only use this effect once per turn, and then a monster that used this card as link material cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. That's also pretty strong. Remember, quick effects. SP Little Knight is a card that you can go into off of IP Masquerena. Requires 2 effect monsters, 2 sideways pointed arrows. If this card is link summoned using a fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link monsters material, you can target 1 card in the field or either graveyard, banish it. Also, your monsters cannot attack directly for the rest of this turn. Then, when your opponent activates a card or effect, quick effect, you can target 2 face-up monsters on the field, including the monster you control. Banish both until the end phase. It's a whole lot of interruption. Next up, we have Nightmare Cerberus. It's a Fiend Earth Link 2. 1 point up, 1 point to the left. This card's link summon, discard a card, target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls in the main monster zone, destroy it. Then if this card was co-linked when this effect was activated, you can draw a card. You can only use this effect once per turn, and co-linked monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Next up, we have the Dark Charmer Gloomy. 2 downward pointed arrows, and it requires 2 monsters including a Dark monster. The Gate Guardian archetype uses Dark monsters like from Labyrinth Heavy Tank, which actually is on the field more often than not, to sending, I don't know, to like Magician Souls, which is always on the field for some reason. It's pretty useful. When it's link summoned, you can target a Dark monster your opponent's graveyard, spell summon it to a zone this card points to. If this link summon card is destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, you can add a Dark monster with 1500 or less defense from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of the Dark Charmer Gloomy once per turn. I'm speedrunning through the link monsters because I will explain their importance later. They're kind of generic, where I'd rather explain the in-archetype cards than explaining generic staples, unless they're hand traps and like main deck cards, whereas the extra deck is so interchangeable these days, and more often than not, depending on how fleshed out your archetype is, you may not even have room for these. Except SP Little Knight and IP Masquerena. Alright, Nightmare Phoenix. It is a fire fiend monster. Upward pointing and right pointing. Requires two monsters with different names, and if this card's linked to someone, you can discard a card, target a trap, spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. Then if it was co-link, you can draw a card. Then co-link monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Next up we have Unicorn. It's a link 3, Dark Fiend. Downward pointing and 2 side pointings. If this card is linked to someone, you can discard a card, target one card on the field, shuffle it into the deck. If this card was co-linked when the effect is activated, you can draw a card. You can only use it once per turn. While any co-linked Nightmare monster are on the field, for your normal draw on your draw phase, draw one card for each different card name among those co-linked Nightmare cards instead of drawing just one card. You don't have to worry about that effect, just know that it targets a card and shovels it into the deck. Very strong effect, but it does target though. So if you have Gate Guardians combined on the field and your opponent summons Nightmare, what is this card called? Like Nightmare Unicorn. If your opponent summons Nightmare Unicorn, uses this effect to target one card you control to shuffle in the deck, and Gate Guardians combined is on the field, you can negate the effect and destroy it, up to thrice per turn. Pretty strong card. Last but not least, we have access code Tarker. Link 4, Cerberus. Cross-linked. Requires 2+ effect monsters. Your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to this card's effect activations. And if this card is link summoned, you can target one link monster that is used as material for its link summon. This card gains attack equal to that monster's link rating times 1000. You can banish one link monster from your field or graveyard, destroy one card your opponent controls. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot banish monsters with the same attribute to activate this effect of access code Talker. Gotcha. So, if this card's summoned, they cannot activate cards in response to this guy's activation, and when he's link summoned, he can target a link monster and gain attack equal to his link rating. Link rating is the number of arrows. Yeah, Nightmare Unicorn has 3 arrows. If you summon one monster and then summon access code would target Nightmare Unicorn in the graveyard, and then it would gain 3000 attack, putting it at 5300. Then it can banish link monsters. To target cards your opponent controls to destroy them, and they cannot do anything in response to that. Alright, and that's it. That's the explanation, and you can see that this time around, our test hand should be stronger. Like, I don't have to play any games, I think, right? I'm only here to explain the cards. I'm here to help you learn how to play the game. I don't know. We're going to activate pre-preparation of... holy crap. We're activating Preparation of Rites, which adds a level 7 or lower ritual monster for our dead or graveyard. We can Ash Blossom ourselves because... remember the effect to add a card from deck to hand. We're adding Illusion of Chaos. We started with 5 cards. We are still at 5 cards. We can activate Illusion of Chaos to search Magician Souls, and then place a card back on the top of the deck. We can place to the back the Illusion of Chaos. We can activate Magician of Souls to send Kazajin, which is 1 material, and then we can finish the effect to special summon this card. Special summoning itself. Then what we can do, since we have all the materials, we can go into Gate Guardians combined, banishing Kazajin, Suijin, and Song of Thunder to summon itself. Then after that, you wouldn't believe it, the conditions for Dark Guardian is also met, which shuffles back all 3 of these cards as well to summon itself. And we could go into link monsters, there's no need to. And then that's game. That's it. So we have targeting protection. This guy does nothing. And then Dark Guardian cannot be destroyed by battle. And that's it. Sadly, we did not have access to the field spell, which kind of sucks. We also have hand traps, I forgot. Ash Blossom is a negate. Imperm we just drew, doesn't really do anything. Let's reset our hand. And you can see now the stark difference between having all of the archetype cards in a single deck versus having these cards and extra assistant cards in our deck. So keep that in mind. We have Song of the Thunder in our hand. We can also keep note of that. We're going to activate a Hero Live since we control no face-up monsters. Pay half our life points. We're going to summon Prisma. Now let's see what we want to do. If we want, we can try to establish a means to go into Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind. So we would send Cozigen. But hear me out. Preparation of Rites searches Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos can search Magician Souls, and Magician Souls can send Cozigen. So even though we need Song of Thunder and Cozigen, and we're about to use Prisma's effect to send a material to the depths of the grave, we do not have to send Cozigen immediately. Because Magician Souls sends Cozigen. So instead, we can send a card we don't have, like Suijin. So we're going to activate Elemental Hero Prisma. We're going to target Gate Guardians Combine. We're going to send Suijin here. This card's name also becomes Suijin. Then we can activate Pre-Preparation of Rites. We can add Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos can use its effect to add Magician Souls. And then we can place back the Illusion of Chaos. Magician Souls can activate its effect to send Cozigen. Then special summon itself. So now we have Cozigen, Suijin. This card is also Suijin. And then we have Song of Thunder, which means we can go into Gate Guardians Combine if we want. Or, ah shoot, I forgot this the freaking thing. We could have went Cross Sheep, to be honest. Oh wait, we should have went Cross Sheep. Oh man, we could have went Cross Sheep. That would have been crazy, right? And here's why. So, if we link summon using Magician Souls and Prisma, we can make Cross Sheep. Then we can banish Sangha of Thunder, Suijin, and Cozigen to summon Gate Guardians Combine. Cross Sheep would activate its effect. Since a fusion monster is summoned to a zone it points to, it can special summon back Elemental Hero Prisma, which only has a soft once per turn effect, so we can reveal another fusion monster and send another fusion material from our deck to the graveyard. So that's the thing, you just gotta like remember and like learn how the deck goes. So we just have to learn. You may not make the most optimal hand each time, you may not even like get anywhere close, but the more you learn about, wow, this is the inboard I want and how am I going to achieve that. Fusion Deployment does access one of our cards, but we must note that if we activate Fusion Deployment, we do not have access to any link monsters. We can activate Labyrinth Wall Shadow if we want. Actually, we just go Pre-Preparation of Rites to send Cozigen here. We're going to start off with that. We're going to start off getting Cozigen on the field, Cozigen in our graveyard. We're going to add Magician of Souls. We're going to send back Illusion of Chaos. We're going to go Magician of Souls. We are going to send Cozigen as material. Special summon this card. After that. So, what we could do. We only have Cozigen on the field. Now, if I remember the extra deck here, Cozigen and Sangha of the Thunder does make a guy. I'm trying to find a way. We do not know currently if this board needs fusion deployment. If we can operate without fusion deployment, we do not know that yet. Technically what we could do, we can send Sangha of the Thunder here. Now, we could draw a card, right? This could draw us a card or go fusion deployment. We can set double attack, wind, and whatever. I wonder, do we go... And let's use Magician Soul's effect to just draw. We're going to send Sangha and we're going to send Wind and Thunder here. We're going to draw 2 cards. We're going to activate Labyrinth Wall Shadow to add the second copy of Labyrinth Wall Shadow. Labyrinth Wall Ghoul or whatever his name is. You see how we have yet to use fusion deployment? Technically, we do not have access to Prisma. Since we do not have access to Prisma, it's not that bad that we don't go into any elite monsters. But because we do have Magician Souls, I did want to go into a link monster, to be honest. But it's fine, it's cool. So what we can do, we can activate the second Labyrinth Wall Shadow. I think we can make a Dark Guardian, can we? I don't know if we can make Dark Guardian. It requires us to like know how to play. I don't think we can activate Dark Guardian, but what if we can go into like a Water and Thunder here? What's in our graveyard? So we have 1, 2, Suigen's one of the materials. We have all 3 materials here. We have Causigen. To make the spell trap, we need 1 more Suigen. So Labyrinth Wall Shadow will have to get a Suigen here. Right? It'll have to get a Suigen from the deck. Then we will have to Fusion Deployment. And get ourselves Causigen. Alright, so we got Suigen, we got Causigen. Wait, that's someone from the hand, no! Aw, man, I meant to summon from the deck. Well, at least I can shuffle a banished guy in our hand, so it's fine. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna make Gate Guardian of Wind and Water. Because that is a spell trap negate. Next up, we can make Gate Guardians combine. Using 1, 2, 3. Summon him. And then we can shuffle back any time. So as you can see right now, we currently have the Wall Shadow, which means if they're level 4 or lower, cannot attack the turn they're summoned. If they have 1600 less attack, they get destroyed if they go to battle phase. We have targeting protection up to thrice per turn, and then if this card gets removed, we can summon any one of our guys from the extra deck or deck. We have 2 spell trap negates, which is also quite strong. Let's make one more test hand. And then we'll see if we can play against some actual people. We'll just do like 3 games. Yeah, we don't have it all in field. Oh, I forgot, you can only use this effect once per turn. Well, I'm glad I didn't screw myself over then. You had a spell trap, but it's not like that good though. So it's combined pass, but we also have a set called By the Grave. And now, that's pretty decent actually. So now we learned more about what this deck can produce. Remember, our only archetypal hand, our only archetypal deck, where it was archetype cards only, cannot access this level of like playing, right? Whereas this right here, we access Gate Guardians combined at a higher rate than if we were not to. It's pretty strong actually, so I'm very happy about that. And then later on, you can find people who specialize in making Gate Guardian decks, who are like really good at it, and then they can assist you. Now, what we're gonna do now, we're gonna play against actual people. And let's see if we can win a game. We're going to see what our opponent's playing. I'm not going to explain too much. We're just going to see what we can do with the cards we know we can do now. So let's give the list of cards we know all about, since we read them over and we know what to do. Dark Guardian, Song of Thunder, Suigen, Labyrinth Heavy Tank, Causigen, Shadow Ghoul of Labyrinth, Elemental Hero Prisma, Ash Blossom Joy Spring, Magician Souls, Illusion of Chaos, Fusion Deployment, A Hero Lives, Dark Element, Ryoroku Guardian, Preparation of Rites, Called by the Grave, Double Attack, Wind and Thunder, Labyrinth Wall Shadow, 3 triple impermanents, Gate Guardians Combine, Gate Guardian of Water and Thunder, Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind, Gate Guardian of Wind and Water, Access Code Talker, Nightmare Unicorn, Nightmare Phoenix, Dark the Dark Charmer Gloomy, Nightmare Cerberus, SP Little Knight, IP Masquerena, and Cross Sheep. So let's run a game. Let's see if we can play any games and see if we can win. Alright, Revival Yam. Let's have a good game. We're gonna go first here. We drew Labyrinth Wall Shadow, Hero Lives, and Preparation of Rites. Now that we're playing against an opponent, we could get baited pretty hard, so we're gonna start with Hero Lives. If they ash this, it's fine. We're gonna start with Hero Lives. They could ash us, they chose not to. We're going to activate Elemental Hero Prisma here. What we want more often than not is the Spell Trap negate. So we know Causigen can be sent off of Illusion of Chaos. So what we could do is go Gate Guardians Combine. And then what we can send is actually, I think, Suigen. Suigen and Causigen makes the Spell Trap negate. So we send Suigen. He knows the effect only changes the name, and we already got, since Elemental Hero Prisma sins for cost, so we're doing good for now. You saw he had a response. That means that he could have an imperm, which could suck. He could have an imperm or an effect veiler. We're going to add Magician Souls. We're going to send Illusion of Chaos back into the deck. We're going to use Magician Souls effect. We're going to send Cosmogen. That's almost all three. We're going to special summon this card now. Then after that, we're going to go Labyrinth Wall Shadow. Labyrinth Wall Shadow can send Cosmogen. Ooh, he has an effect. He Ghost Ogred. That's what it was. It was Ghost Ogre. Since he destroyed it, that kind of sucks, but that's why we have the second Labyrinth Wall Shadow. We have Suijin, we have Cosmogen in our grave. All we need is Song of Thunder now. So we go Song of Thunder here. Then what we can do, we can go Cross Sheep. We can go Cross Sheep on Elemental Hero Prisma and Magician Souls. Then we can summon Gate Guardians combined using these three. Banishes all three. Gate Guardians combined. Cross Sheep can summon itself, which therefore can summon Elemental Hero Prisma. Elemental Hero Prisma can use this effect to send another guy we choose like sending. Let's send another Suijin, because Suijin is the spell trap negate, which is pretty dang strong. Then they have a light monster. We can't do anything with the light monster. We can go to IP or SP. We can just go SP pass. Then turn Cross Sheep and you into SP. We can just go SP and banish his Ghost Ogre. Why not? We'll banish his Ghost Ogre. And then we'll pass turn. We have an Ash Blossom. We have 3 targeted negates. We have SP Little Knight, which banishes a monster, banishes another monster, negates. He's playing Fiendsmith. He's going to add a Fiendsmith card from deck to hand. To be honest, we have to Ash this, because if he doesn't, then we're going to cut him off on his plays right now. He currently has 4 cards. Let's see what happens. He's playing Whitewoods. That's not good. Oh, he's playing Whitewoods. That's very bad, actually. That's an archetype, but sometimes you just gotta learn what the deck does, so I'm not going to explain his deck. We're just going to work with what we have. We're going to work with what we have right now. That's all. He's activating, add a Whitewoods monster from deck to hand. Okay. He's going to add a Whitewoods monster from deck to hand. This card's in your graveyard. Target Whitewood Synchro monster returns to the extra deck to special summon this card. Okay. If a light spell caster turn special summon your opponent's add this card in hand. Alright, let's see what's going on. The other Whitewoods monster. Okay. New archetype. Control Whitewoods monster, send spell trap, hand to graveyard, draw a card. He synchro summons. He doesn't. He goes Underworld Goddess. Underworld Goddess blank negates all my monsters. Then he goes into Typhon. Typhon shuffles back my monster. Goes battle phase, end phase. That's pretty strong. He stopped me. He stopped the whole entire play. That was very strong of him. What we have in our graveyard now is Suijin, which is very strong. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to normal summon Labyrinth Heavy Tank. We're going to activate its effect. If we get Cosmogen from the Banish Zone, then destroy one monster opponent controls, which is Typhon. Then we can place Sangha of the Thunder. Then we can summon Gate Guardians combined yet again. Or what we could do here, wait, do we have a Gate Guardians in our graveyard? We do not. So we go Gate Guardians combined again, banishing 1, 2, and 3. We special summon Gate Guardians combined. We go battle phase. We hit him for 3,500. Main phase 2, end phase. We have triple targeting negate. He goes Fiendsmith. Shuffle the guy back. Special summon himself. He goes into the Link 1 monster Fiendsmith. The Link 1 monster Fiendsmith tributes itself. Special summons. Oh, he chains. Since he controls no face-up monster, he can summon a token, and then he can summon a Fiendsmith. He can go into the Link 2. Oh, he's not going into the Link 2? Not yet? Okay. What's he doing? His plays are continuing. He's playing the Whitewoods half of his combo. Remember, level 4 or lower monsters cannot attack the turn they're summoned, and if he goes to battle phase with a monster with 600 or less attack, I can choose to destroy it. So he wants to go into Underworld Goddess again, I think, because Underworld Goddess is a light fiend, and he already shuffled it back using the Fiendsmith. He goes into the Synchro monster. Change all face of monster opponent control to face down defense position. It's non-targeting, which means Gate Guardians combined does nothing against it. Yep, that's pretty strong, pretty strong. He goes into the Fiendsmith Link 2. It shuffles 2 of the Fiendsmith monsters back, or 3 of them. Goes into this guy. This guy can do target and negates. He equips himself, he can do a target and negate as well. Yep, he negated the field spell, which means that... Yeah, he negated the field spell, that's pretty good. I can go Labyrinth Wall Shadow actually. No. The spell trap's negated, so I can't do anything. But I have Ghoul in Graveyard, don't I? Oh, I don't have Ghoul in Graveyard either. Ooh, this is bad, man. This is bad for us. But it's also bad for him. Personally, I think Underworld Goddess would have did more damage. Oh, we have game. And here's why. We're going to turn on our targeting protection. We're going to go Gate Guardians combined, shuffle it, put it back up, and face up to tab position. What we're going to do next... What we have in our graveyard is Labyrinth Tank. We don't have anything else good in our graveyard. But what we can do... We can still grab a guy. We can still play into his hands. He's going to do a target negate using Fiendsmith, and then I can negate that. No, is it targeted? I think it's targeting, right? No, it's not targeting. Ooh, that's bad. So, he did a non-targeting negate because that is a Link 2. The Link rating's 2, which means he can negate 2 face-up cards without targeting. We can shuffle back our banished Suijin, Kazijin, and Song of the Thunder back into the deck to summon Dark Guardian. Can we kill our opponent? I can try Access Code, right? Does he have a dark monster in his grave? He has Typhon in his graveyard. Typhon. Does he have any negates? This card's in your graveyard. Nope, that's not a quick effect. Negate. Any quick effect? This card's in your graveyard. Target a Whitewood Synchro monster your controller in your graveyard. Return it to the extra deck. No. 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 We're going to attack Fiendsmith Deiris. He takes damage. That guy goes back to shuffle. And then he can target a field. He can target a card in the field and send it to the graveyard. But little does he know, Gate Guardian is no longer negated because it's in the graveyard. Gate Guardian's combined effect does activate. And now I can... Ooh. Wait. Let me read real quick. Oh yeah, we gotta add freaking this guy. This guy's good. We're going to add Guy of Wind. We're going to attack Sylvie of the White Woods here. We're going to go main phase 2. We're going to activate this to add ourselves a card that mentions it. We're going to add Dark Element. Since we have a Gate Guardians monster in our graveyard, we can activate Dark Element, pay half of our life points, and then summon Gate Guardians combined again, ignoring summon conditions. Then what we can do, we can add one of our guys back to our hand. We currently have only Labyrinth Wall Tank. Yeah, that's not enough to do anything. No, it's fine. We'll cancel and then end phase. So we have targeting protection, which isn't bad. And we have a guy who's unaffected. And we won. That's amazing. That was a really good game, actually. It was a whole lot of back and forth, but we actually won. Let's give it 2 more games. Let's see if we can win 3 in a row. We have a Labyrinth Heavy Tank, which isn't bad. My thing is that he's going to Ash Blossom Preparation of Rites, but if not, we can get Kazijin in Graveyard. We're going to go Preparation of Rites for Illusion of Chaos. We're going to... Oh shoot, I did not mean to set that card. There we go. We're going to go Illusion of Chaos effect to add Magician of Souls. And then put Illusion of Chaos back. Magician Souls activates to send Kazijin. We're going to special summon this card. Then, we can normal summon Labyrinth Heavy Tank. So we have Kazijin, we have Sangha, and then all we gotta do is put Suijin in our spell and trap zone. There we go. Then if we want, we can just draw a card too. We're going to activate Magician Souls, sending you, and we're going to send Ryoroku Guardian to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Oh shoot, Fusion Deployment's actually really good. But we're going to activate one of them. Then, we can go Prisma actually. No, we can go SP. Next up, we're going to go Cross Sheep. Using Labyrinth Heavy Tank and Magician Souls. Next up, we're going to activate Gate Guardians Combine. Or we're going to summon Gate Guardians Combine using all 3 materials we have. Then, boom. We can go Cross Sheep in the Monster Zone. Since we summoned the guy, Fusion guy. To bring back Magician Souls. Magician Souls can come back. He's going to Nibiru us. Which gets rid of all of it. But it's totally fine, and here's why. He Nibiru's us, right? Watch this, watch this. He Nibiru's us, we can activate Gate Guardian's Combined effect to special summon Gate Guardian of Thunder and Wind. And then Gate Guardian Thunder of Wind can activate its effect to add a Gate Guardian spell trap from deck to hand. We check our graveyard real quick, we have nothing good. So we can activate, so we can add Dark Element. Then we can activate Dark Element. Pay half our life points. And then if we want, we can just special summon Gate Guardians Combined again. So we can special summon Gate Guardians Combined. We can add these materials back into our hand actually. Which was pretty dang strong. And then what we're going to do, we can go SP actually, so... I think I want to go SP here, using Gate Guardians of Wind. We can't use a token. Shoot, it requires effect monsters. We can go IP. IP seems pretty strong. We'll go IP. We'll get rid of Water of Wind and we'll go IP, Gate Guardians, pass. So we played through Nibiru. We got Nibiru'd and we still ended up on Gate Guardians Combined. We have IP Masquerena to go into SP Little Knight, and we have Gate Guardians Combined. Next up, he's going to activate Pod Duality. We're inferencing now that our opponent's playing a deck that does not mind not summoning Jack. He's playing Gradles. That's an archetype we can get into later as we play more of this archetype deck, you know. He sets a card. He puts Nibiru the Primal Being in attack position. He's going to attack over IP Masquerena. That's fine. We almost died. Not gonna lie, we almost died, but it's cool. He activates Gradle Impact, target a card you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them during end phase. We can end of main. You can add a Gradle card from your deck to your hand. Personally, we don't have to ash, that's fine. He can add it. He can add it, it's cool. Remember, we have triple targeting negate, so we can just keep that in mind right now. As we continue playing the game, we can no longer special summon or normal summon, which kind of sucks, but that does not mean we can't play. So we're gonna go Labyrinth Ghoul, Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth here, to add ourselves Labyrinth Wall Shadow. Which means if a monster wants to attack us, we can destroy it before it even attacks us. We're going to activate Labyrinth Wall Shadow. Let's see what's in our graveyard. We currently have no good materials in grave. We can't summon anything, but that doesn't mean we can't place. We're gonna go Labyrinth Wall Shadow to place Suijin actually. I think placing Suijin from the deck is gonna be good here. Place Suijin. I think we can attack. And then we're just gonna beat over Nibiru. The Nibiru means nothing. If he activates Gradle Impact guy, we can just negate that. We can do a target negate, but if he gets rid of our monster and then has Nibiru, that's gonna suck. We can go Shadow Ghoul of the Labyrinth. Wait. Target one monster your opponent controls with less than 600 attack, destroy it. Sure. Wait, this destroys my guy. Oh, it destroys his guy. Sure. I'll destroy his guy, it's fine. I kind of messed up. I forgot how the card worked. If your opponent monster battles while you control a Labyrinth Wall card, I can banish and destroy the opponent's monster. I get it now. He's going to banish 6 cards. to attempt to draw 2 cards, we can chain Ash Blossom. And then he can chain another card if he wants, but he doesn't. Ash Blossom negates Pot of Extravagance. And we messed up on Wall Ghoul. We did not mean to do Ghoul. We messed up. He's going to destroy. Target 1 Degradal card and 1 card your opponent controls, destroy them. And then you can add a, during your end phase you can add a Gradle card. Sure, he can do that, right? Because, wait, we can negate that, right? We're going to negate Gradle Impact because it's just a scary card. Gradle Impact's a scary card, and we have 2 more negates. We have 2 more target negates, so it's fine. Alright, he goes Gradle Eagle. But he doesn't realize that Labyrinth Wall Shadow will destroy a monster with 1600 or less attack. Well, this card's equipped with... This card at least will destroy the equipped monster. This card is a battle face in the graveyard. Target face a monster your own controls, equip it. Sure, I'll destroy it. He's going to take a lot of damage. So the Gradles excel in taking control of your opponent's monsters, but they have to target to do so. Gate Guardians combine negates targeting. So as long as we have at least 2 or 3 negates of targeting, we can survive. He did not use the effect. Interesting. Oh, this is a pretty decent hand actually. What we can do to protect ourselves against spell trap negates, we can go Labyrinth Wall Shadow here, and then go Kazajan. Labyrinth Wall Shadow, we can get Kazajan from Banner Zone actually. Labyrinth Wall Shadow, Kazajan from Banner Zone so that we can get Gate Guardians of Wind and Water. This helps us negate any spell trap effect he has in his back row. Next up, we can go Elemental Hero Prisma here. We can activate Prisma's effect. We can target combined. We have only a Sangha and a Kazajan left. Let's send Sangha to the graveyard here. This name's becomes Sangha. Nice. We can then go Fusion Deployment. We're gonna target Gate Guardians combined one more time. We're gonna go Kazajan. So we have a Sangha and a Kazajan, and I think we can OTK here. Sangha, Kazajan. We can go Sangha, Kazajan. All we need now is Suijin. We're gonna go Dark Element, banish itself to recover a Suijin. We're gonna target a Suijin in our banner zone. And now we can summon Gate Guardians combined again. Using Suijin, Elemental Hero Prisma, and Kazajan. Then we can enter battle phase. We are going to attack Gradle Alligator here. He takes a lot of damage. He's going to activate Gradle Alligator to target one of our monsters. Oh shoot, I'm dumb. Wait, I did not realize, whoopsie cadoodles. I thought I could negate it. Whoopsie. It looks like I did not negate that. Oh, that sucks. Womp womp. Well, that's what happens when you don't pay attention. It gets negated. Huh. What do I do now? Can I get Dark Guardian on the field real quick? If I attack, it only brings back one of my materials, right? You don't make Dark Guardian, sadly. Oh, man. We're gonna go main phase 2, because now I'm afraid. I'm, like, really afraid now, because, I whoopsie cadoodled. Because I thought target one face of monster opponent controls. I don't know why that did not work. Interesting. I don't know. I have no idea. Well, I'm about to take some damage. So now it's Gate Guardians combined versus Gate Guardians combined here. We can negate the spell trap. We can negate Harpy's Feather Duster, which is nice. That's one down. Another Gradle Alligator. I can activate Labyrinth Wall Shadow, targeting Gradle Alligator to destroy it. I'm gonna put Chaining on manual because I don't know what happened there. I don't know. I thought I could have targeting negation protection. I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't know what happened. It's on manual, so I mean, targeting. Negate. Yeah, okay, I don't know why that didn't work. I guess having it on auto was like, I don't know. That was weird. I don't know why that happened. I'm a little bit sad about that, actually. So, he could crash, get Guardians combined, but that would lose him the... Or he can just attack that guy, that's smart. We're gonna add back Suijin. Select a zone for Suijin, huh? Yeah, you can go in defense position because I don't want to die. Thank you. Holy cannoli. Alright, let's place a guy, right? What's in my extra deck right now? I can shuffle a guy back, right? It's not SP. I can discard a card, right? That works. Discard a card. Yeah, I got plays. We're gonna go Ryoroku Guardian here. Banishing to target a guy. Let's see which one we really want to make here. Target a card in the field destroyed. I want to target a spell trap. I want you to add me... What's in my extra deck? Add Kazajan, I guess. Need to add back Kazajan. Want you to activate your effect. You can add back Sangha. And... I think I have to normal summon a guy. I think if I normal summon Ash Blossom, right? And then we go into Nightmare Phoenix. We normal summon Ash Blossom, go into Nightmare Phoenix to discard Kazajan, and then target Gradle Alligator. Bro, it's so goofy. Oh, I forgot. No, Get Yarns combined negates it. No, I forgot about that. Whoopsie. Ah, man, I'm being a goofball right now. I'm being a goofball. Let's just go battle phase here. I'm being way too goofy right now. Let's crash. Then we go Gate Guardians combined effect. We can summon Wind and Water. Then we can attack with Wind and Water. Nice. Yeah, this game should not last as long as it did. That's what learning the deck is about, man. That's what it's about, learning the deck. He sets a card, it's a Gradle. Sadly, I can't stop a Gradle. You wouldn't believe it. I cannot stop Gradles. We can play Suijin. I need to shuffle some cards back is my thing, you know? I need to shuffle. Target a face-up monster opponent control, change its stat to 0. Oh, I like that actually. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll banish you two. Make you. So, if I attack with Wind and Water... No, if I attack with... Man, I don't know. Let's just go battle phase here. I think I will attack with Wind and Water. Not having targeting protection sucks. Oh, it was that guy. That's super convenient, actually. That's extremely convenient. And we won. Nice. That's the second duel down. I misplayed a lot, but we're not going to talk about it. Last but not least, last duel. Alright, this is our last duel. It's our opponent's turn, and we have Ash Blossom, which isn't bad. We have Dark Element, which is not bad either. I wish there was Foolish in this deck. If I could Foolish... like a Gate Guardian, or like extra foolish, I don't know. He's playing Goaty. That's cool. He's playing Goaty. He's summoning, Sykes. Sykes is very strong. We can't let Sykes go through. Sykes is a very strong Goaty card. You'll learn more about the archetypes as I keep playing, but like... yeah. We got Sykes. He's playing Runic Goaty. Okay, Runic Goaty. He goes Hugin. Depends. I wonder if he has another Runic card. If he has another Runic card, then... he discards. Fusion spell. He doesn't. He can go into a Synchro 8, though. That's something I am afraid of. Even though he does not have another Runic card, he can go into a Synchro 8. We're going to start off with Illusion of Chaos. I want to see if it negates it. We're going to go Illusion of Chaos here. He doesn't know what we're playing right now. We're gonna psych him a little bit. We're gonna go Magician Souls. We're gonna add back Illusion of Chaos. He does nothing after that. Next up, we're just gonna go Hero Lives. We're gonna really cook here. We're gonna go Hero Lives. Then he'll probably get the Assumption. He ashes Hero Lives. Okay, nice, nice, nice. Next up, we're gonna go Magician Souls, I think. We're gonna go Magician Souls. We're gonna send Kazagen. We're gonna special summon this card. Right. I think he's gonna plan on synchro summoning now. He's not. We could go for the draw. We could draw a card. Now we're gonna go Labyrinth Heavy Tank. He has to do something now. He's not. I think we have to draw a card then. Or go Labyrinth Heavy Tank here. We're gonna go Heavy Tank. We have all we need. Let's get Suijin here. He's got to do something, right? He's not? Okay. He knows we have nothing at this moment. What we could do, he has nothing in the graveyard worth mentioning. We can draw 2 cards. He's not doing anything after that? Okay, we draw 2 cards. So what do we have? We have Kazagen and Suijin. Let's get Sangha right now. He's still not doing anything. We have Sangha. Sangha's in hand. He's still not doing anything. Great. We're going to... What's in our graveyard? We have Prisma? We do not have Prisma. We can go SP here, to be honest. SP can bait out our opponent pretty hard. Or Cerberus. Yeah, we're gonna go SP. So, our opponent has to do something now. Still not doing a thing? Okay, great. Alright, we're just gonna go combine then. 1, 2, 3. I was trying to get our opponent to do something. Alright, combine has been summoned. Now you have to do something. Nothing? Okay. I guess we'll battle phase then. I mean, I thought he was gonna do something more. You're not doing anything? Because I guess it's not threatening? Sure, we'll hit Sykes. Then I think Sykes has, if this card's banished, you can banish the fish monster from you special this card is banished. You can banish this card you control, special fish monster from your hand. Nope, you do nothing. We'll go SP target you. We'll go main phase 2. I guess we'll set a card and pass. I mean, sure. I thought he was going to do more. He's not doing anything I thought he would do. What's his plan now? Oh shoot, that card's insane. You can target one of those banished level systems. Oh, he goes Runic Destruction. Targeting that. We can just negate Rune Destruction actually. Yeah, we'll negate. We'll negate Destruction. Because he banishes cards and we don't like that. We will negate Runic Destruction. Hugin's still on the board doing nothing. He goes into his own SP Little Knight. SP Little Knight to target a card. We can negate that. They're gonna activate the effect to do another, to target another card. We can just negate that too. I mean, we could just negate that because like 3 targeting negates pretty dang strong. And then we won. We had a Called By in our own SP and an Ash Blossom. That was pretty good. That was a very good 3 games we had there. That was a very good 3 games. Anyways, back to the thing. Let's look at what we're doing here. Basically, we learned about the Gate Guardian archetype. We learned that it is a fusion-based deck almost that revolves around a whole lot of bricks. There are ways to get the bricks into the graveyard. There's a whole lot of recursion in the spells that are granted. The boss monsters having thrice per turns to them, to their very powerful effects like spell trap negation and targeting negation, and being able to summon themselves or summon other versions of themselves back is very good. The field spell being a soft once per turn is especially strong, and getting those bricks onto the field so that you can summon your lower level Gate Guardian fusions like Wind and Water and Thunder and Wind. We noticed that Thunder and Water is particularly bad because just targeting a card to change its attack is not very important in today's game. Dark Element is not that bad. It recurs and searches, so getting that in the graveyard is obviously very good. We did not really use Ryoroku Guardian, that's why that's up to 1. The Illusion of Chaos engine along with the Prisma with Hero Lives engine to add more copies of these cards into our hand is very strong. SP Little Knight's broken and wins us most of our games. Cross Sheep summoning back Magician's Souls to go into SP and or Cross Sheep summoning back Prisma to use his effect again is also pretty cheeky. Shadow Ghoul I forgot was a hard once per turn. Heavy Labyrinth Tank is very fun. It's a very fun card. Normal summon without a tribute places a guy down. It's obviously what makes us go into Cross Sheep. Very strong. The hand traps are good. Stopping people from adding cards from deck to hand helped us with the Goatee player. Fusion redeployment kind of contradicts us using the Cross Sheep player, right? Where we go Cross Sheep, special summon Ultimate Gate Guardian, special summon back Prisma, go into our play. So you kind of have to like pick and choose knowing which combo goes really good with fusion deployment. But it can still be good. Fusion deployment's still good despite that. We didn't really use any of the quick play fusion spells except we didn't use any of these except to like recur cards. Dark Element was the only one we actually used to summon back Gate Guardians Combine. We survived Nibiru, which was a pretty good showing about the power of Gate Guardians Combine. And this was just really fun overall, so if you want, you could let me know in the comments or something like, hey, I want to see this archetype next or something. And then let me know what style you want to see of like how I interpret it, or if the video's too long, too short. Should it be more ASMR style? Should it be duologues? Like, how should I appropriate it? And also to like open your mind a little bit, how do I make this more casual friendly? For individuals that don't understand how these certain card effects work, should I start the beginning of my videos acting as if everyone knows what the cards do, or should I, as like starting off, explain the archetype, explaining what the cards do into like great detail? Then as we learn more about the engine cards and other cards to help our archetype out, we're able to talk less about what this means for the card. Like, Hero Lives, what does it mean to pay 1,000 life points? Like, because now we know a little bit how to play the game, you know? So, yeah, that's just all to look about. I'm just showcasing, like, archetypes you may not even think about at all. Aside from one MBT 10-minute testing video. This is trying every archetype, T episode 1, who knows what I'll name it. I gotta edit this 3-hour video. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.